Boston's rock station, WAAF presents Characters, featuring local actor-filmmaker Johnny Hickey.
How you doing? I'm Mike Shue, and welcome to Characters, WAAF digital exclusive, where we focus in, well, on that, characters, people who give the place a little flavor. Tonight we're going to focus in on Johnny Hickey from Charlestown, Massachusetts. Started out as a street rat, got addicted to Oxycontin, got into a whole lot of trouble. But he was able to turn that all around and make a very critically acclaimed movie called Oxy-Morons. And this is his story. Why do you think Charlestown seemed to have the worst of it as far as the Oxycontin thing went? It seemed like, what I was reading, it was like 50% higher everything, like hospital records of violent crime related to Oxycontin. Why here? Why was it worse here than everywhere else in Massachusetts?
I mean, one main reason is Charlestown's only a square mile. So as a neighborhood, when they balance it, you know, percentage-wise against other neighborhoods, it's a very small neighborhood. So you're talking a square mile of people compared to much larger cities. So everyone there is contained, is kind of doing the same thing. Majority, it's made up of housing development, so there's just a lot of drugs and different things going on, you know what I mean? So then you take the culture itself, you know, to come from families of bank robbers and stuff. It's known throughout history that Charlestown has more bank robbers than anywhere else in the country over the history of time. So you're taking all that in our generation, so it's like if dad's a dentist, then, you're a dentist, bank robber. So people seen the money in the pills, and the $80 a pill. So instead of going into a bank and passing a note, maybe walking out with $3,000 and dealing with, the FBI at the time and stuff, it would be easier for someone to go in and rob a pharmacy that hadn't been done in years. It's like drugstore cowboy days, and get these pills that are now worth $80 a pop and start pushing them on the street, making money. But when you dibble and dabble, in using your product where it's not cash and selling it, that becomes the crime level of it, and why people are ODing and stuff, because it was such a high amount on the streets of Charlestown that people were ODing more, people were robbing and stealing for it more. It's just the way it is. It's just, I believe Charlestown's, over history just has a curse on it. I mean, the Bunker Hill Monument, to me, is a testosterone beam of, it's a monument of war. It's a monument of death. It's not a monument that, it's a victory that we won and killed people, but it's not like a monument of peace or anything, or any sign of, it's a sign of winning killing each other, So I feel like my neighborhood's just been cursed from, day one. So, and throughout time, different generations had different high rate, stuff, crime, the code of silence, more unsolved murders at one time.
Do you think that added to it, the code of silence?
Yeah,
it seems like...
I mean, the code of silence was the real deal here. I mean, I know people, even, my family, that were involved in some dirty stuff where they witnessed people get killed in bars and stuff, and nobody said nothing because everyone was on this code of silence bullshit pyramid scheme where you're not allowed to tell, you know what I mean? Silence equals death, death equals silence. That's my belief now, I grew up believing not to tell and rat and, the code of silence and stuff. Then I realized it's not right just to go around killing people and not suffering any consequences for that, So I don't know where the neighborhood got all that from. That's before my time. Those are generations after generations pouring this bullshit down each other's throats of not, and then eventually everyone stabbing everyone in the back or killing someone in the end anyway. So, but yeah, I think all that tradition of criminal street rules and the code of silence and the bank robbers definitely helped where we were going with the crime level of drug abuse, no doubt. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. We've always loved our pills in Charlestown. We always loved every angel dust. So now, we had a fluent way of making it. So
you got caught up in it probably for the same reasons. You needed money. You wanted money.
I was a hustler. I mean, I was sent to jail when I was 17 for the first time, and I was homeless. I ran the streets. I lived in and out of hotels, things like that. And
so that was your way out of it.
That was my way out. I mean, eventually I was a smart kid in school and stuff, but then my street life deterred me from that. I grew up in the projects, and I'm not going to blame it on that. But I was a product of my environment. But my product of my environment was to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And at that point in time, was being a street hustler. You know what I mean? So I was real. My crews were real deal. Getting people and doing things and putting us on the next level. So yeah, I seen the green in it more than anything. I seen the way of making easy money and stuff, until I realized that it was the same. It was still new to us, you know what I mean? We didn't know what it was, and no one really quickly we learned, but no one quickly knew right away that it was the same thing as heroin, you know what I mean? Because we frowned upon heroin growing up. There was a small pockets of people that did heroin, and we Yeah, you know what I mean? But Oxycontin and heroin, there's no difference. You know what I mean? One's a pill, one's a powder.
So did you get addicted to Oxy first, or did you find the value in it first and just start?
Value in it first. I mean, when they first came around, I was involved in like the rave scene, doing ecstasy, all that stuff. I was heavily involved. I was polluting myself with designer drugs on a daily basis. You know, traveling the country in the rave culture, and these Oxycontin pills came around, and I didn't even know what they were really. I just knew they were like high milligram perk, time release, whatever. And then I slowly seen people like starting to get into them real quick. Then I went away, and when I came back, now I seen all this money in it, so I got all involved in it all over again. And then I went back to jail for 3 years. You know what I mean? Because of my involvement in all that stuff.
That's from you got caught. You started robbing pharmacies.
Yeah. So allegedly, I'm the original, one of the original OxyContin bandits. Me and my crew. Some of my good friends were put away for, actually robbing pharmacies, caught in the act kind of stuff. And one of my friends, Sean Newman, God rest his soul. Something happened to him in prison. He's passed away now, and but it's all because he was caught up in this bullshit street life and following those rules and getting involved in the drugs and couldn't beat his habit. And he was a great kid though. He was a dynamite kid, 18 years old, and he got 12 years in state prison because he was a drug addict. And he took it to the next level, obviously, in robbed pharmacies. But I mean,
that's why he did. That's why he got 12 years because he was robbing pharmacies.
But at the same time, I don't think an 18-year-old kid who has a drug problem and you know what I mean? That there should be more outlets for him than just 12 years in prison, first time ever getting in trouble, you know?
Well, what happened when you got busted?
So when I got busted with pills, possession of a firearm, and counterfeit money. And then they just tied me to a bunch of other things.
Counterfeit money?
Yeah.
So you were getting into that too?
Well, no, I wasn't. The counterfeit money thing's a funny story. It's really just being involved in the street life and doing things in nightclubs and stuff like that, and drug deals and passing drugs. People will dupe you with fake 20s because it's dark and you can't see. So it was always a joke. Everyone always had this counterfeit money going, like pockets of 20s and stuff, and just fake money. And we'd just like go and pass it back off into the nightlife scene, you know what I mean? And I went away for 3 years, man.
So what are you saying? They were like Charlestown bucks?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Charlestown had its own currency?
It was a joke. You know, with me and my friends that were all dealing, would come home and we'd count our money out for what we made and do our cuts and splits and stuff like that, and see who had the most counterfeit money, who got duped the most. It was like a joke, and we'd just take it, we'd go back and we'd dupe somebody else with it. But we always had but never thinking, just so messed up on drugs, bouncing around everywhere. Like, if I get caught up for anything, it's a fucking federal offense. The Secret Service came to see me. It's like made a big deal out of it. $5 big $20 bills on me, but still, yeah, it was like, wasn't a lot. I wasn't printing. I wasn't making it. I wasn't involved in any of that stuff. So, but that just added ice into the cake. I had a real great criminal defense attorney, this guy William Corman out of Boston, who's been saving my life since I was a kid. And he was a DA originally, and he's always kind of seen me to be above and beyond what I was doing, and he always helped me out. So he got me a really good deal because it was my second class B in a school zone, all that stuff. So I ended up getting 2.5 years in the county, and 6 months into that sentence, I got moved to a minimum and I escaped. I actually escaped from a minimum in Lawrence, called Lawrence Farm. Made a phone call, had a ride waiting for me on the bridge, jumped a fence over a dumpster into mud, and off I went for 6 days with a 40-man apprehension team hunting me down. They caught me they chased me to Rhode Island, all over New England. I was on my way out to California, and they caught me at some girl's house up in Vermont, tracing cell phones. So, yeah.
How old were you at that time?
I was about 21. Yeah, I was young. I was 21.
Were you still doing the Oxy at that point?
No, that was at the beginning of the bid, so you know what I mean?
Okay.
I was in jail at that point, you know what I mean?
But you didn't get out for 6 days and then...
No, I was so nervous about finally hitting me that I just escaped from jail, and I have a 40-man apprehension team. Like, doing drugs just wasn't... I just couldn't get, you know what I mean? Get sloppy, you know what I mean? I wanted to really get out. And ended up getting caught, so the 6 months that I had done up until that point, they erased and gave it to me on an after, so it ended up turning my 2.5-year sentence into a 3-year sentence. I got out, and I just went right back, just got sucked right back. I didn't know anything else. What else am I going to do?
So you got out after like 3 years?
Yeah.
And then you got out, you just started everything at the Oxys, and then...
Yeah, just went right back out into the game. Just right back out into the game, and just doing some things that I feel, led up to what changed my life. I was at a whole new level, because now I have even more stripes because I just did this long sentence. You know what I mean? I'm doing all these crazy things.
So you thought the jail time... So you're saying you thought the jail time kind of like gave you more credibility? Maybe you could accomplish more?
Yeah, it's sad. It's like in Charlestown, we always say this. It's like growing up as a kid in Charlestown. If we all both grew up in Charlestown. You grew up. It doesn't matter what part of the neighborhood you grew up, but you end up going and getting a scholarship and coming home and graduating from Harvard. You know what I mean? Nobody gives a shit. They're going to hate on you. You're a fucking geek. Your parents have money. You're not even really from Charlestown. This, that. That's always how it's been there. That's just is the ignorance built in us. And so when you come home from jail, though, it's like, what jail were you in? Was it with a bad jail? Was it an easy jail? Who'd you stab? What'd you do? It's a stripes. It's like you come home with like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? Like a medal. And you get more respect that way than if you're actually doing something in society that's useful or positive, I think now things are getting old. It's different now. Everyone's going to jail. Before it was a certain crew of people that went to jail. Now everyone goes to jail because everyone's a drug addict, and that's what they do with drug addicts. You just throw them in jail, whether it's getting high and feeling dirty urines because they're on probation, or going out committing dumb crimes from shoplifting to doing whatever to get their fix. You know what I mean?
Did you kick Oxy in jail? I mean, when you went to jail.
You got to kick cold turkey. No, I mean, when someone went to jail, you have to kick cold turkey. And there were Oxys coming in the jail. All that in my movie. That's really true story. There was really a correctional officer that overdosed on my friend's stash that he was bringing into the jail and all that stuff. So, I mean, you can always find stuff in jail. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, I wasn't in jail. I wasn't getting high really. I didn't have a habit or anything.
But when you got out?
But when I got out, I was right back into the game. You know what I mean? And I was robbing, stealing, doing things that just weren't right. You know what I mean? Just
like what? Like
morally, like moral things. Like it came to a point where it was I was becoming evil. My demons were flocking around me, and before I was just a street kid, dibbling, dabbling, drug dealing, and all this drug stuff and all this Oxy stuff coming out of the rave stuff. Now I was doing stuff that was just morally wrong. You know what I mean? Just things that you don't do. Like stealing from places you shouldn't steal from, and you know what I mean? Robbing people you shouldn't rob, robbing your friends. I was just a heinous.
Was that because of the drugs?
It was just I didn't care anymore. I just did 3 years, and I realized during my 3 years when I went away, I knew tons of people that did stuff like crime and all this stuff, and I stuck to this bullshit pyramid scheme, code of silence, bullshit. Don't talk, and I got offered deals not to do my 3 years. Tell on this guy, tell on that guy, and you won't go away. And I was like, fuck that. I'm a solid kid from Charlestown. I'm not telling a rat or any of that shit. And I went to my 3 years, and no one sent me money. No one put money in my canteen, not $20. People that scream all this fucking solid this, solid that, don't rat, don't do this, don't do that. Street guys, and no one did nothing for me. People fucking hooking up, find my girlfriend. It's a false game.
So you get out of jail, you go get right back into it. Now, where does that lead you? Does that lead you to when you start working with the feds? Did you get busted?
No. I mean, I ended up getting into a fight in Quincy at the Marriott Hotel, and I was helping a friend that was getting jumped. I got smashed in the back of the head with a rock or a brick. Went off a cliff. Was in a coma for 7 days. Woke up, separated my pelvic bone, tore my urethra, my bladder exploded, dislocated my hip.
Okay, so wait a minute. They bash you in the back of the head with a rock.
Yeah.
And then they drag you to a quarry and they throw you into a quarry.
Yeah, they push me off. Like I'm stumbling on the ground.
Were you unconscious? Were you conscious?
After I got hit with the rock, no. But my brother was there and he was watching what was going on. So I get from the point of getting hit in the rock to what happened after that, And I was stumbling. They just kind of like kicked me off the, booted me off the cliff. And I fell 80 feet and I landed on rocks. But the way I landed was like $1 million shot on my ass. So I didn't hit my head, my neck, my back. I just busted everything down here, which was still horrible, but it saved me from getting brain injuries and things like that. And
and so that was it. That was the one. It took
when
being thrown off a cliff to say, okay, maybe I got to make some changes here.
Yeah, people say, they have to hit that rock bottom. You know what I mean?
And
I literally hit fucking rock bottom.
Right.
I literally landed on rocks, and my rock bottom was a rock bottom. And I woke up in the hospital.
When you woke up, what was the first thing you thought? Can you remember?
Everything. My memory was instantly kicked in. It wasn't like a gap of like losing my memory or anything like that. You know what I mean? It was like.
What was it like?
It was like fuck. I'm like.
You just woke up from a nap or something?
Yeah, like I know I was fighting. What happened to me? Why is my knee in traction? Why do I have tubes coming out of every part of my body? My dick, my balls were this big. Like it was brutal, bro. And and they got me the morphine drip, and I'm high. I know I'm like really high, fucking, you know, I know instantly I'm high on opiate. And right from that point, I just looked at that morphine drip on my arm, and a couple of my friends, drug friends, were in the room, you know, everyone's sitting there when I woke up, and they're laughing because I got the 6-minute button, and one of my friends comes by, and he hits the 6-minute button on me, for me, like, here you go, kid, like, you know what I mean? Like, all, like, it's impressive that I, every 6 minutes, can shoot morphine into my vein, and all I'm thinking of is, I'm going to end up getting out of here, not having this morphine drip with me, and I'm going to become the thing I feared the most, which is a heroin addict, because I've never done heroin, you know what I mean, even till this day, and I lost a lot of people I love to heroin, and I never wanted to go to that level of being a heroin addict. Like, I never wanted to reach that point. I lost my, you know, my sister to that, my stepfather, and I never wanted to cross that level, and that reminded me, having a needle in my arm with an opiate, even though it was in hospital, reminded me of that, so I ripped it out of my arm and flipped out, said I didn't want painkillers no more. I wanted to go cold turkey. They made me...
So you had the separated pelvis, and everything's like crushed.
Yeah.
You get a torn urethra.
Yeah.
And you're not taking painkillers.
Nope, none. Cold turkey.
Can you describe? I mean, you must have been in just
no. I mean,
pain.
I was in excruciating pain, but you know, it brought me back to times when I was a kid and I would break bones. You know, when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, the Boys and Girls Club fracture my leg. I was never on painkillers then, and I dealt with the threshold. So why can't I do it now? I know these injuries are way more, you know, riptide rush, but.
Have you experienced any kind of pain worse than that?
Never. Physically, no. That was the most, I can't explain what that was, but...
That amazes me, because I would be begging for morphine. I've never had anything like that happen to my body, but...
Well, it was kind of like a spiritual point for me, where I made, like, peace with myself and my God, like, that if I could do this and now actually need the fucking shit that I've been abusing and not do it, then maybe he'd give me another chance to walk again. Maybe I could manifest and make myself walk again, you know what I mean? And I refused to take no for an answer. I had 7 doctors telling me, you're never going to walk again, you're not going to have kids, you're not going to be able to use just take a piss, nothing, you know? Never make love to a girl again, and whatever God you believe in, call it what you will, I got everything back, 110%, and I believe it partly because of that, you know what I mean? And from that day forward, I never touched a hard drug again.
Well, after a torn urethra, really, it just seems like everything is pretty lightweight. It must have just been a huge boost of confidence for you.
Yeah, so. I mean, if you can survive falling 80 feet, waking up 7 days later out of a coma, having 7, medical professionals telling you you're not going to be able to do anything again, and you prove them wrong, it gave me a balance to manifest and just keep going forward. And then, what keep going forward for me at that point was making the movie. And I made the movie. And now it's manifesting me from that as now I made the movie, where am I going next? John Hickey ain't done. I'm going above and beyond every level I go to next from this point on. And, that's how you keep shit going and rolling is, keep creating. You're only as good as your next project. So.
Well, like you said, you got to stay focused on something.
Yeah.
And keep it going. Are you afraid that if it doesn't all pan out, I mean, what else could Johnny Hickey do?
No, I'm not afraid. You know why? Because right now, for Johnny Hickey, things just fall into place. And I'm not going to ask no questions why they do fall into place the way they do, and why I get to levels I'm at where I'm just doing great things. Even this, just doing things that are positive and putting myself out there and creating things. Yeah, I'm not worried about it, And if I hit a brick wall, I just fucking jump through it like the Kool-Aid guy. Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Good luck, bro.
Right,
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
For more exclusive on-demand video, keep checking in at WAAF.com.